Alright boys, so today we're going to be talking about Zhongli, what you want to build on him, what weapons, what artifacts, what team you want to run him on, and how you want to play him. Like what position you want to play him. Because to me personally, you'll see this in this video, I'll be talking about two different builds, right? I'll mention both of them. I'll mostly be talking about the main DPS variant, but there's like a support DPS variant you could run. If you want to run that, but I feel like if you pull Zhongli, you kind of want to run him main DPS, right? So the support variant I'll just like briefly mention at the end, but let's get into the main DPS and how you want to build Zhongli. But boys, before we get into what weapons, artifacts, teams, etc. you want to run on him, look at this, come on. 95 of you boys watching, so a very high chance that you right now aren't subscribed, so just hit that button, come on. We're gonna do Genshin, you're gonna watch my videos anyway, so might as well subscribe, right? So first, let's start off with weapons. We have the Skyward Spine. It's a decent weapon, right? It's a 5-star. I'll be skipping this one though because it's not exceptionally well on him. Like, it doesn't work exceptionally well on him. But it's if you have it and you don't have any of that 5-star, and most 4-stars aren't as good as this one, right? Sure, use this one. It's fine, right? But I'm gonna skip this one because I don't think it's that amazing on him. It's a good weapon though, right? I'm not gonna say it's bad. Anyway, the next one, the Primordial Jade Winged Spear. On hit, increase attack by 3.2 for 6 seconds, max 7 stacks. So 7 times 3, 22.4% attack, right? For 6 seconds, pretty much. Can only occur once every 0.3 seconds. And then full stacks increase skill damage by 12%. I think that's a pretty good weapon. Gives him crit rate, always going to be, like, in my opinion, the best subset you can have in a weapon. I think this weapon is fantastic. I'm gonna put it on the graph. I'm not too sure if this is his best weapon. I don't think it is, but we'll talk about it, right? Well, for the time being, I'll put it on here. Why not? There we go. Okay, this is a weapon you could run. It's pretty good. Okay. Now the next one, the Kunwu's Iris Rift. I'm pretty sure this is the one that drops with him. Normal attacks have a 20% chance of causing the next charge attack performed in the following 10 seconds to deal 40% increased damage. Now, if you don't know, Zhongli's charge attack is really cool. So what he does is he pretty much just teleports forward and does like a lot of like stabs, I guess. I don't know how you want to call it. But it's definitely a good charge attack, which is why I believe this is a great weapon for him. You know, he also comes with this weapon, so they obviously designed it in a way where it will work well with him. To some extent, I think it's fine. I don't think it's super good, but I think it's worth mentioning. The prototype Grudge, we're not gonna mention. Not good on him, right? And the spear doesn't have information yet. It's probably one of the new ones anyway. Who cares? The Favonius Lance, we're not gonna mention. It's not good. Dragon's Bane, Hydropyro, we don't care. Not gonna mention. The Deathmatch, now this is what I'm probably gonna be using if I end up pulling him. I'm not sure if I'm gonna pull in Child's Banner, okay? One, Child's better. Like a lot better than Zhongli. 2, Child's Banner is more appealing to me, right? I can't say what's on the banner because miHoYo will end me. And then 3, I just find Child cooler than Zhongli anyway, and more interesting. But the deathmatch, if there is at least 2 opponents, attack and defense increased by 16%. If there is less than 2 enemies nearby, attack is increased by 24%. So this is really good for bosses. This is really good for Abyss. This just works well on him, right? That's where it gives you crit rate. I think this is solid, just attack increase, just solid DPS, right? So we're gonna put this on there, and so far I believe this is the best one. You get this from the Battle Pass. So I mean, I suppose it's pretty easy to obtain because you just have to pay $10 and you get it, right? But not everyone wants to pay that. The Crescent Pike is a great weapon. You can craft it. I'll actually put it on there. It's a really good weapon. It increases your attack by 40% when you have it max ascended. When you pick up an elemental orb, and you'll pretty much always be doing that. Like, obviously, you hit an enemy and you get an elemental orb, right? With like any skill, so you'll get these super consistently. This buff is really good. It gives you physical damage, which will work really well with the build that we're going for because we're not going geo damage. And then for the rest, the Black Cliff Pole, really good. The White Tassel is also like just really solid if you can get it. I have 3 of them. I still don't have 5 of these, so right, that's what like you do what you want to do. And then the Halberd is also really good, right? These are all good weapons, solid choices on him. I'll put these on there, right? I actually need to increase the window real quick. Okay, so this is like loosely ranked, right, in how good I think they are. The 3 stars are always going to be at the bottom because their base stat is just going to be horrendous. Like, I think this effect is great. Same with this one, but like you don't like the base stats you get. Like it's the difference between like a 40, or even like a level 80 3-star weapon and a level 80 4-star weapon is insane. Like the damage like difference is insane between those two. And then especially if you compare a 3-star to a 5-star, it's like they're pretty much double. So like even if the effect is really good, the 5-star is always going to give you the most value, pretty much, right? I just think the deathmatch is insane though, so I do believe it's actually like genuinely the best weapon. But that's just my opinion. I think all these are great, right? Just build the one that you can build the best, or like have the most copies of. Or if you've picked a deathmatch because you're like me waiting for Zhao and you eventually want to use it, go build it now, right? Might as well. If you have any of the 5-star ones, I'd suggest building them too. They're both great. And then if you want to have a 4-star, you don't have any, like you didn't pull any, right? Well, there isn't any good pullable 4-star ones in my opinion, but anyway. The Crescent Pike is really good, and you can craft this one. And the Blackcliff Pole you can buy from the Stockler exchange, I'm pretty sure. And this one's also good. But I wouldn't recommend buying the Blackcliff Pole, right? But the Crescent Pike you can definitely craft. It's one of the best crafted weapons, I believe. And it's really good for all polearm users. Right, let's move on to the artifacts. Now, artifact-wise, it's pretty obvious what you're gonna do, right? You're gonna go Gladiator's Finale. Like it works too well. It just works too well on him, right? You just run this. And for the substats, for the DPS variant, you want to run attack, crit rate. Or if you only care about his normal attack damage, which is totally understandable, right? Attack fizz damage, crit rate will get you more. If you don't want the crit rate, you can go attack on here too, it'll be fine. Just make sure you have some crit rate substats, okay? Because crit is really important, right? Especially if you have a weapon like the deathmatch, you just want to be sure you're like 40, 50+% crit rate, okay? So just make sure you have a solid amount of crit, okay? If you have like the Crescent Pike physical damage bonus, then you could just replace you'll just go attack 100%. You don't double stack physical damage in that case, and then you 100% want crit rate. Okay, you could go triple attack, right? But 100% if you run one that doesn't have a crit rate substat on the weapon, you want 100% one crit rate. And if you have a weapon with a crit rate substat, you want to run at least crit substats. Okay, like have some crit substats. But just having one with crit rate is just a lot more convenient, I feel like. But that's just me. A different set you can go on him instead of the Gladiator's Finale, right, is also the Retracting Bowlight, because that one will increase your shield strength, which is fine. And then while protected by a shield, you gain additional 40% normal and charge attack damage. Another good thing about this set is that in the team, you'll be running 2 Geo units, okay? So while protected by a shield, you'll also increase your normal attack damage by another 15%. So this just works really well together. But the Gladiator's Finale is just going to give you more damage overall, right? So if you only care about damage, I feel like this one's just a lot better. And then for his support type set that I mentioned earlier that I don't recommend running, but you could run, you'd go HP, Geo damage, attack. HP because his shield and partly his ult damage scale with HP. So it'd be great to have that on him. And then Geo damage obviously because you'll pretty much just be a skill that you just use a skill, you don't really attack with him. And attack just that you actually do some damage, right? You can also just have energy recharge, I suppose. And then on your substats, you want energy recharge substats. Now, the artifacts you want to run that support set are either these two, if you want a little more damage for yourself. But if you're only going to be like an old bot, like old Petrify, right, switch out, then you could just run the 4-piece Noblesse Oblige too, because you'll increase everyone's attack by 20%, which is more than this, right? So this would also work really well. But I don't recommend running this. I feel like it's boring. Like on Zhongli, you definitely want to go damage, but maybe he'll be more of a support type character. And for his team, what you could run is what you definitely want to run is Zhongli plus another Geo user. You can run Ning Wang if you want more damage. You can run Noelle if you just want more support. She also does good damage, but she's mostly there for support with her shield and her healing, right? So either one of the two, so you get the double Geo buff. So when you're protected by a shield, you get 15% extra normal attack damage. And then as the other 2 units that you could run, right? So you run Zhongli plus Noelle or Zhongli plus Ning Wang. Now, if you run Noelle, you don't necessarily need a healer, but it's still probably better if you do have a healer, because your healing isn't that insane. So, if you run double fire, for more damage, you'll run Klee and Jinyan, right? You can mix this up however you want. I think Jinyan is going to be fantastic, because once she gives him a shield, it does pyro damage to everyone. And then instead of Klee, if you don't have Klee, you could also just run like Bennett, for example. Bennett would work really well as well. Let me put him on here real quick. So Bennett would work also, like would work really well as a fire type Virginian, because you'll constantly be doing fire damage, so you'll get his ultimate up pretty quickly, and that will provide more healing. So you could go Noelle, Jinya, and Bennett, and then Zhongli, obviously. Or you could run double ice, so you have increased crit rate when they're affected by frozen or cryo status. So Diona is a healer, but she also applies ice pretty well. And then Kaya obviously is really good at applying ice. And then Chi-Chi is, you know Chi-Chi, right? She's a great healer. Doesn't apply ice too well, but her healing aspect's really good. And then you could run double water for increased healing, which is also pretty decent. And then you'd give Barbara the Dragon Slayer book, right? You'd switch into Mona, pop her ult, switch into Barbara, then switch into Zhongli. He has 50% increased attack. You pop the bubbles. This is a little unrealistic team, but it's a fun team, okay? But pretty much I think those are his main options, right? You also could just run like Venti, Klee, for example. You don't have to have a double element combination, but I feel like you're missing out if you're not. So this is what I'm recommending. You can pretty much run him however you want. He'll work on pretty much every team. Just at least have 2 geotypes. That's the most important thing, okay? Because you'll often trigger Crystallize, so you'll pretty much always be protected by shield. So that 15% extra normal attack damage is actually kind of big. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. If you're still watching, subscribe. If you're not watching, okay, whatever. Ka-ciao.